Welcome back to another video, and today with a special and different NAS. Now this one here has the same hardware that your gaming computer at home, desktop computer has. Besides a great performance, it also has two Thunderbolt ports, which is great for content creators like myself and probably you, which will allow us to edit directly on the NAS. Besides that, a lot more. So let's go and take a closer look at it. And if you are watching this video on your Windows 10 or 11 computer and you still haven't activated and can't even edit your desktop icons, don't forget to check out cdksales.com, where we can find budget official OEM keys at an affordable price, and with the coupon code that you can see on screen and down below on the video description, it will get even cheaper. And besides Windows 11 Pro, if you are looking for Windows 10 or even an Office suite that we can aggregate directly to our Microsoft account, you can use the same coupon code, which will give you the best price possible at this moment. So just in case, the link will be down below. So it comes with a Intel CPU 12th generation i5 12400. So this is a well-known CPU and probably the CPU that you have on your main computer at home. So really powerful. It also comes with 32 gigabytes of RAM, but we can upgrade up to 64, and it comes with 6 bays right over here that we can just with a simple click remove it and then put in our hard drives. Now I'm using 6 hard drives Toshiba N300. These are great, but the interesting thing is that to put in a hard drive I just need to remove this bracket right over here. Actually I need to remove these two brackets and then put in the hard drive. Easy as this, no screws at all. I'm using 6 of these, 8 terabytes, and I would say that, I don't know, about 30 seconds, 40 seconds is enough to put in all the bays here. So as easy as this, just put in the hard drive, then push it in and put it right back, and I will do it here real time with you, and then just put it right over here and slide it in, close it. There's even the option to lock these drives if we want. Now besides the 6 bays for the 3.5 hard drives, we can also put SSDs inside. And now to take a quick look at the inside, which is really cool. At the front we have the empty 6 bay units for the hard drives. I just removed them because they're a bit on the heavy side, about 500 grams each. So we can see the 6 connection for the SATA drives at the back. And then if we look at this side, there is the main board right over here with the CPU cooler. We can also upgrade the RAM at this moment with 2 sticks of 16 gigs each, so a total of 32, but we can go up to 64 gigs. And we can also upgrade here the SSDs, which we are going to do so. 2 terabytes SSDs from Sabrent. So it's just as easy as coming right over here, no screws required, just put in the SSD, push it in, and then it has this grommet right over here. Just need to push it, and that is it. If I want to remove it, just push it back and bam. Really love this feature right over here, no screws at all. Now let's put on the second one, just push it in, and once it's in we just need to push it right over here, and that is it. Now another really cool thing, it has a second PCIe right over here available so that we can use with any other board. At this moment we have this one, Thunderbolt, with the 2 connections at the back, but if we want we can use the second one with storage or with a 10 gigabit Ethernet port or something like that. So really cool on the outside and really cool on the inside. Now right over here, nothing special but just the cooling system and the space that's there to cool down all the drives and the system, but overall really cool. Now let's put it back and plug it in. So that extra PCIe slot right over here is just awesome. We can put in any expansion PCIe card. If we want, we can also put in a graphic card. I'm not really sure if you've seen the video of Nick at Gear Seekers, but he did test out. So huge thumbs up to Nick. He did an awesome test with a graphic card, and that just shows the possibilities that we have with this NAS unit. Now, it's not a really practical setup, but it was a really interesting test. Besides the 6 bays at the front, we also have the activity LEDs, a display and 2 buttons which will allow us to view and change some options right here on the menu. It also has a power button and a direct copy button right over here with a USB 3.2 generation 2 type A. On the back it has one HDMI, 2 USB type A 3.2 generation 2, one USB type C 3.2 generation 2, my favorite ports, which are the 2 Thunderbolt ports, and not my least favorite, the 2.5 gigabyte Ethernet ports, which are necessary so that we can connect from any device, any computer on our network, or even outside our network. Setting up the NAS, for those that are newcomers, it's really easy. I did take about 5 minutes, 10 tops if this is the first time, since I did remove it out of the box until it was ready to use. Actually, talking about inside of the box, I'll show you a few images of the unboxing, but you will find the NAS and all the necessary accessories. Actually, it has more accessories than I required because I don't remember using any of the screws or anything that came with the package, with the exception of the power cable. Now, in terms of the setup, it's also really easy. We just need to use the QNAP tool to find the NAS on our network, and then it will immediately ask if we want to initialize, and from there the process is quite simple. We just need to follow the steps, and basically that is it. We will be able to start using it, especially if we want to edit videos on this NAS. And now connected via Thunderbolt 4 to the QNAP NAS and also my MacBook Pro. I've got a Final Cut Pro project right over here, but let's take a look at some speed tests really quick. Let's select the drive, and in this particular case, let's select the volume public, which is a volume created with these 5 hard drives, 3.5, actually 6 3.5 hard drives. So let's select this one, open, and start our speed test. We will see that it will reach about 600 megabytes per second, but look right over here, 1300, and right now it's reaching more, and it's increasing on the rights as well. So we will get these speeds. We are talking about 900 more or less. On the reads we are getting about 1300, 1500 megabytes per second, and on the writes roughly 1000, 1300 was the maximum that I've seen in terms of write speeds. Let's just wait for one more or two so that we can see the speed increasing, because it's also taking advantage of the cache of the SSD that we have. Now, I also have another SSD which I did create a single volume, and right now we were getting a bit lower speed on the reads, a little bit slower on the writes because probably the cache went full, but right now it's back, and there we go, 1200 megabytes per second and 1500 megabytes per second, which is really awesome. So let's stop the speed test, because this just means one thing. If I want to edit videos on this QNAP NAS with Adobe Premiere, Final Cut, or any other app like DaVinci Resolve or even CapCut, everything that will read from your drive, and these projects are all on the QNAP NAS. One of the things that we can notice is the snappiness that we have. So every single frame that I move, I will see it. One of the worst experiences that we can have with slow storage is when we move the needle on any editing software and it will jump up and we will see the frames jumping, but here very smooth. I can just move around and it's getting data from the drive. We are with a 4K 25 frames per second timeline, which is a regular video that I do. I've got a few clips on top of each other. Right over here, for example, we have 3 clips. This one will go on top of that one and on top of that one. So really nice workflow right over here with a NAS, which is capable of doing a lot, and besides a lot, also editing videos. While we are connected via Thunderbolt 4, we will also charge the laptop. As we can see at this moment is 66%, and although it's not the fastest charging method on the world, I will not have to worry about. I can just arrive home, connect it to my Thunderbolt, I have access to all the video files that I want, edit my videos on the fly without having to worry about battery or connecting anything else. So great speeds, especially connected directly to the NAS via Thunderbolt, which is my favorite way. So if I was to use this setup on my setup, the best location would be next to my main editing computer so that I could connect via Thunderbolt and then at the same time via Ethernet so that it would connect to my own network, and any computer on my house or even outside my house, according to my permissions of course, would be able to access that data. So I could take advantage of the fastest speed and also all sorts of services like Plex servers and even the backing up of my pictures from my Android or iPhone directly to the NAS unit. Now, talking about those apps and the dashboards, let's take a closer look. And now on the QNAP dashboard, which is really easy to use. For those of you that already have a QNAP, then feel free to just jump on the timestamps. But I want to share also something that might be interesting for you as well. Now, if you are here for the first time, it's really easy to navigate. We have the dashboard right over here with some really interesting info that we can just take a look quickly. For example, I've got a warning right over here that my SSD folder is getting nearly full because I've got my Final Cut Pro projects right over there. So let's close this one. We also have some shortcuts right over here that we can quickly change language and desktop preferences and so on and so forth, notifications and so on. Now, the apps that we put on the desktop, which we can then put on several desktops, like I've got right over here. This one is still empty, but we can create more. But besides that, we can also put it in groups, just drag it and put it in groups. We can rename whatever we want. So if I click right over here, I can just say apps A, for example, and there we go, we just changed the name. But if I want to put all of them on the same and then go right over here on this menu, I will have access to all the apps that we have installed. Now, have in mind that when we start the NAS unit, it will not have all these apps. I went to the App Center, which is one of my favorites, and then I did install. Actually, these are all installed, but we can go right over here and install a lot more. Probably Plex is the one that you are used to for multimedia and so on and so forth, but we have other choices. So these are the apps that are on the App Center, and some of them really awesome. But let's move on, or we will stay here all day. Now, one really simple thing but very useful is the file station, that we can manage all our folders. We can create more folders, snapshots and so on and so forth. And I also want to share with you the control panel, which is very useful as well. It will give us the quick information right over here of the firmware version, which is QTOS Hero latest version at this moment, the hardware, which I already mentioned on the video. And then for those of you that are newcomers, now these options right over here, which are a lot for the first time that we look, don't be afraid. We just need to look at these 4 areas. So this is the system options, all of these right over here. Simple things like power. Do I want to have power saving? Simple things like the hardware, where we can change the fan settings and so on and so forth. And then things that are a little bit more complex, but with overtime we will be able to manage. Then here on the privilege, this is all about users. I can create more users. I can create groups and so on and so forth. I can also create the shared folders right over here. And then on the network area, where we have several network services. So all the options for the network will be in this area here. And then finally on the applications, we have all these here. So if I press general settings, for example, we will see all that shortcuts, the 4 shortcuts that we see right over here, we will also see here. So if I want to take care of something in the general settings, I will be here, like region or anything else that I want to change. If I want to go to power settings, we can go right over here. If I go to hardware, we can select the hardware resources, a smart fan, where we want, if we want normal mode or if we want quiet mode or anything else. So really simple options, a few more complex, but we will get used to it. And here the user interface, which basically I can create as many users as I want, and basically we will have everything here. Now, it's not in one day or 1 week that we will get familiar with everything, but this is that kind of NAS that we will grow into it. And with time, when we want more and more, it's here available. So we will learn and we will start using. So in 6 months, when I hear that I can install an app and I can use this and that, I just need to go to the options, find it and use it. Something that probably today is too overwhelming. Now let's go to simpler things, which are the apps that I wanted to share with you now. One of which is the QNAP. Now if I press it, we will see that I've got quite a few images right over here, and these photos were taken by one of my phones. Now if I go to my phone right over here and I open QNAP, and let me put this on another screen, probably on the albums, which I haven't got anything. So at this moment we are watching my phone and we have the pictures right over here. So all of the pictures that I take with my phone, they will end up on my QNAP unit. So this means that I no longer have iCloud limits or Google Drive limits. I'm using my own storage on a cloud, which is at my home or at my office. So I can just see the pictures that I've been taking, these with the Pixel 8a and recently with the Pixel 9 Pro and 9 Pro XL. So really awesome pictures that we have right over here. Now we also have here some shortcuts that are what we find usually on this kind of app. But now if we go back to the screen and if we go back right over here, besides the pictures, if I go to this area on the Explorer, it has some AI working, which is great. Now it will tag automatically people, and the first time it will ask who am I. For example, I already named my oldest son and my youngest one, and it will detect the pictures where they are. So if I click right over here, it will say that Martin has 42 pictures and right over here. Now if I go here, who am I can just write that I am Roberto. So every time that it will detect a picture, it will know that it's Roberto, but sometimes it misses. So if I go right over here, it did miss, but I can just say, hey, this guy is Roberto. So it will join right over there. So at this moment, I've got 3 identified persons, and right over here I still haven't identified these. But for example, this is Martin, so I can select Martin, and this is Daniel. Now these are 2 of my friends. I was testing out the new function of Google Pixel XL or Pro XL, and they were my helpers, so they are right over here. And basically we have a lot of options. We can create albums and folders and share. We will be able to do everything that we do with a normal app like Google Photos or similar. Now if we go back, one other really interesting feature about multimedia is the multimedia console. Now this is the AI engine on the background. Actually it's here, the AI engine, everything it's enabled, so it will do the facial recognition, the object recognition, and so on and so forth, and it will give us that info right over here. Now just have in mind that I don't need to do anything here. It's just out of curiosity. It will give us an idea or exactly the files that we have indexed, and then facial recognition, object recognition, and similar photo recognition, so that I can delete the ones that I don't want. So it's like an app that will give us a lot of information about all the multimedia that we have. Now I also want to share with you here on my phone that we have the possibility to use the Queue Manager, which basically will give us the same options that we have here on our computer in terms of the dashboard. So the first one, it will give us the hardware status, like it is right over here, some temperature and the hard drives that I got, the system fans. So we have a lot of info, and then we have all these settings that some of them are already familiar with you because we have seen on the dashboard. So for example, App Center, I've got my apps, I've got the apps that I can still install, and I don't need to go to the computer dashboard. I can just install by a click on my phone right over here. So really easy to use. Also the Q File Pro, which is right over here, I can manage files that I've got. So if I go to my SSD1, I've got quite a few projects. These projects are Final Cut Pro projects, as we can see right over here. Now these are big files with videos and roll and b-rolls and so on and so forth, and I've got files of 8 gigabytes right over here. That's why it's getting full so fast. But just to mean that we have an app that I can create folders, I can have my Word documents, I can have my PDFs, I can have everything right over here, and I can download to my phone or send to a friend via email. So really easy to use, and there are more QNAP apps. These are the ones that I tend to use. Now finally, here on the dashboards, I want to show you the security center, which is also improved, and there are a lot of things that are really interesting. Now the security checkup, for example, which we did already scan, and if I go to view reports, we will see here notifications of what we should follow now. Suggestion, settings, assistance. So it will give me these suggestions so that I can keep on improving of the security of my NAS. And this with the antivirus as well, the malware remover and the Q firewall. So we can enable everything right over here, and then we don't need to do anything because it will give us warnings and it will secure us of bad intentions, I would say, from over the internet. So in a quick, well, not really quick, but as quick as I could, this is the dashboard interface with the latest firmware and some of the apps that I do believe that are really interesting, and of course the overall look and feel of the dashboard on a QNAP. And basically this is it. Now this is not everything about this NAS unit because it has a lot to offer, and we could take a few days here bombarding you with information, but I believe that I could sum up everything that I thought that would be most interesting to you. In my opinion, this is for someone which is an enthusiast or really high demanding in terms of workflow, someone that will take advantage of the Thunderbolt 4 ports right over here in terms of video editing or any other task that will allow us to push in and push out data at really fast speeds, but at the same time doesn't want to have a DAS, a direct attached storage, which there are a lot of solutions on the market, wants a centralized unit. I want to work on this NAS unit directly on my main editing computer, but at the same time I want to serve everything from this unit. So basically an all-in-one solution for someone that wants to edit videos, wants to store data, wants to have services like Plex and all other services that we have seen a few. Now I will leave the link down below so that you can check out all the other specifications. Hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did so, don't forget the usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. My name is Roberto, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.